Spotify Camp Nou is no longer a site where one thing happens at a time. This week, the escalators came back to the Tribuna. Slats arrived at the south goal corner with anchors already in place and installation days away. The compression ring is closing across both goal ends. And inside the structure, block walls are rising on the second level cantilever. 5 storylines, 1 week. What we're seeing now isn't preparation. It's the fit-out phase beginning to stack up across the entire bowl. In this update, we'll break down each zone, explain what the activity actually means, and show you exactly where this project stands, heading into what could be a defining stretch. Of all the things to spot on a Friday morning, this one was genuinely surprising. New escalators have arrived in the Tribuna, plural, brand new units, still wrapped in protective plastic when the footage was captured. Workers were in the process of stripping that plastic off and preparing the units to be lowered into position using a tower crane. That's a meaningful moment. Vertical circulation in the stands had been on hold for a long time, and the arrival of these escalators signals the restart of that entire fit-out phase in the seating bowl. It's easy to focus on the structural steel when you're watching this project, but a stadium without working escalators isn't a stadium. The Tribuna just took a step closer to being one. The compression ring is moving, but the story at the south goal this week is even more interesting. Here's the convergence that makes this week's footage stand out. At the south goal corner, the lamella anchors are in place. The beams are painted, the mounting supports are ready, and the slats themselves have arrived on site. They haven't been mounted yet, but the groundwork is complete and installation is expected to begin in the days ahead. That alone would be significant. But look up to the upper corner zone, and something else is happening. Rebar is being installed. Steel reinforcement bars going into the diamond area above. The kind of active concrete work that had essentially disappeared from this site for months during the longer stable construction phases. 2 storylines landing in the same corner at the same time. One is the facade finally beginning to take shape. The other is a reminder that the structural work here still isn't finished. And the north goal corner is where that gets more interesting. The compression ring continues to be the engine running through every zone on this site. At the south goal area, a fresh radial beam was being secured during filming. 2 workers on elevated platforms placing the piece onto the structure, with 4 flanges already connecting the beams into the ring. The formwork needed to pour the new pillars and radial beam joins hasn't arrived to this section yet, but the pieces are stacked and staged in the parking zone and will head to Gol Sur directly as space allows. At the north goal corner, the ring is progressing into the zone. 1 pillar is already in place. A radial beam is staged and ready to be lifted, and formwork is set. The joins between those 2 radial beams are expected to close within the week. What's being prepared on the beams themselves is what matters next. The north goal corner is in the final preparation phase before lamella installation can begin. Workers in white protective suits were visible painting beams, touching up abrasions, covering patches of exposed metal. Because every beam that will carry a slat support needs to be fully coated before those supports go in. Anchor bolts are being tightened and checked for alignment at the lower section, where the vertical lamella connection brackets have already been fitted to the painted beams. New slats have been delivered to this corner. The inventory is building. Some beam zones still have sections awaiting supports, and a handful of areas across the top, middle, and lower heights still need their brackets placed. But the direction is clear. This corner is moving toward installation, not away from it. The second level of the lateral zone tells a different story about pace. At the first mobility core on the second level, sandwich panel installation is actively underway. New panels have been added to the left side since the previous week's footage. You can see the coverage expanding when you compare the two, with work continuing on the right side. Metal alignment rods hang from above to keep the panels straight during placement. The panels themselves have yellow-colored insulation cores, and some of the corner edges still require the small metal fixing pieces that ultimately support the lamella anchors. Several elevated platforms are working simultaneously on fitting and preparation. No lamella anchors have been placed at this mobility core yet, but the panel coverage that needs to exist before those anchors go in is getting there. The lateral zone has a different kind of progress to show, and a logistical detail worth understanding. The parking zone along the lateral side of the stadium is functioning as the primary material yard for the project right now, and it's stacked. Formwork for the pillar and radial beam work, compression ring components, staged beams. All of it is held here because the Gol Sur and Tribuna areas simply don't have the floor space. One radial beam on the lateral side still needs to be installed. New compression ring pieces aren't expected to come to this zone. The logic is that anything arriving now will go straight to the Gol Sur area to keep that section moving, rather than making a two-stage journey. On the first cantilever above, some welding activity was observed in one zone, with sandwich panels stacked along the lateral section where installation has begun. The block wall work above tells us something about what's coming inside. On the second level cantilever, block wall construction is progressing in multiple locations inside the stadium skeleton. One section is clearly more advanced than the others. Scaffolding erected, workers active at height. What these block walls will eventually become, bathrooms, plant rooms, service spaces, hasn't been confirmed on site, but the pace of work suggests it's a priority. Across the upper sections of the stadium, activity on the third cantilever has increased noticeably, with crane movement and elevated platform work visible throughout. Safety nets are being installed in the south goal corner area to protect workers on lower levels from falling materials, a sign of just how much simultaneous overhead activity is taking place in that zone right now. The summary makes clear how much ground was covered this week. So, where does this leave the project? At the start of this video, the question was whether you could see a finished building starting to emerge from all this steel and formwork. And this week, the honest answer is yes, you can. The escalators landing in the Tribuna, the slats arriving at Gol Sur with anchors ready, the lamella supports climbing up the north goal corner. These aren't preparation updates, they're fit-out updates. The compression ring is joining up across both goal zones. The rebar work resuming at the diamond corner is a reminder that the structural story isn't over, but the facade story is beginning. What happens at Gol Sur with those slats in the coming days will be the indicator to watch. The next update should be a significant one. If you want to see the moment those first slats go up at the south goal, subscribe. We'll have footage from site the moment it happens.